Good morning students. Today in this video we are going to discuss about the third category of auxiliary verb, that is semi-modal verbs or the marginal auxiliary verbs. Students, as you know that in English verbs are classified into two classes. Number one, lexical verbs, and number two, auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary verb further divided into primary auxiliary verb like be, do and have, and modal auxiliary verb like shall, should, will, would, may, might, must and can, could. And marginal or semi-modal auxiliary verb like had, better, ought to, used to, need and dare. You have already read about primary auxiliary and modal auxiliary verb. Now we will read about semi-modal auxiliary verb in this video. Okay. So semi-modal verbs are semi-modal auxiliary verbs are so called because they can function as modal auxiliary verb as well as main verbs. Semi-modal verbs combine with preposition to express about the same things. As the main verb always follows the semi-modal verbs, which are had, better, ought to, used to, dare and need. Semi-modal verbs are used with main verbs by themselves. Semi-modal verbs don't have simple past or past indefinite tense, present participles or past participles. They can't be used to form infinitives with the exception of ought to and used to. Both these verbs are always followed by infinitives. You can notice ought to is infinitive. In used to is infinitive. So these verbs are always followed by infinitives. When a semi-modal verb is used with third person singular subject as a she, he and it doesn't change its form. Okay. So had, better, ought to, used to, dare and need. These are the semi-modal verbs we are going to cover in this video. So let's start with had, better. Had, better is used to issue warning, give advice, make suggestion, recommend an action that will avoid something bad that is likely to happen, or to say something that should be done or is worth doing in a particular situation. The verb had of had, better can't be changed to have. It is always had. We cannot never say have, better. Okay, so it always remains had. It can be contracted to you'd, better. You'd is the contracted form you had. Okay, we use had, better for the present and future tense, but not the past. The present continuous tense is not used with had, better. Like in these examples, you can see the use of had, better only for present and future tenses. It is wrong to use semi-modal verb for the past and the present continuous tense. It is wrong to say she had better watched the documentary last night, as the sentence is in the past tense. It is also wrong to say you had better stopping the car at the roadside, because semi-modal auxiliary verb had, better is also not used for the present continuous tense. Okay. Now, the verb that follows the modal verb had, better is in the simple present tense. In sentence 1, we had better go by taxi. Here the verb go is in simple present tense and following the semi-modal verb had, better. Okay. Similarly, in sentence 2, the verb clear up is following had, better is in simple present form. Now, the main modal verb should and ought to can be used to replace had, better without affecting the meaning. Like in sentence See here, you are coughing loudly. You had better see a doctor. Now see how it can be replaced by should. You are coughing loudly. You should see a doctor. So how ought to replaces had better. You are coughing. You ought to see a doctor. Understand? So should and ought can be used to replace had better, but without affecting the meaning. So here we can use should and ought to for replacing the semi-modal verb had better but without affecting the meaning. Now next is had better used in question and contraction. The modal verb had better has its negative form with the word not, N-O-T, not, following it. Had better not. Or in other words, we can say that negative form of had better is had better not. Okay. Now next is questions using had better. In questions using had better, the subject comes between them. Negative questions will have had not, hadn't, is in contracted form coming before the subject. Like in sentence 1, had you better write down my phone number before you forget it. Here in this interrogative sentence, the subject you comes between had and better. You can notice. And in negative interrogative sentence, had not will be contracted in hadn't and comes before the subject, like in sentence 3rd. Contracted form hadn't has been used before the subject they. You can see in 3rd one. Now next is ought to. Ought to is a semi-modal verb because it can function as modal verb and can also act as a main verb. Unlike the modal verbs, it is followed by preposition to, okay, making the main verb that follows it an infinitive. But like the modal verbs, it does not change form for person, such as taking an S for the third person singular, he, she, and it. Ought to can be replaced by should, as they both have about the same meaning. Ought to can be used to in the negative and contracted forms as ought not to or oughtn't to. Ought to comes after the subject and before the main verb in sentence. Like in sentence first, I ought to eat less to reduce my waistline. Here, semi-modal ought to come after the subject I and main verb eat, E-A-T, eat. Okay. Similarly, it is so in other sentences, as in sentence 7th. Semi-modal verb ought to comes after the subject your parent and before the main verb arrive. Now next is ought to is not used with another modal verb like must. Like here, it is used with ought to is used with must. See the incorrect one sentence. Here, must is used with ought to. That is wrong. It is wrong to say they must ought to tell the truth about what happened. And it is correct to say they ought to tell the truth about what happened. Should can be used in place of ought to. Okay. It means, see example 1, given his height, he ought to play basketball. See in second one how should is replacing ought to. Given his height, he should play basketball. Next is should not, shouldn't. Can take the place ought not, oughtn't. It means should not or shouldn't, that is the contracted form of should not, can be used instead ought not or oughtn't. Understand? Now, when ought to is used in a negative sentences or negative statement. So here the word not and ot not comes between ought and to ought not to. It can be contracted as oughtn't. Other negative words such as doesn't, don't and didn't are not used with ought to. Like in sentence 1, we ought not to have spent so much time arguing here. The word not comes between ought and to. And in sentence 2, contracted form not, N-O-T, not, comes between ought and to. Now, ought to in questions. In questions, the subject is placed between ought and to. Ought to is rarely used. The modal verb should is better option or replacement for ought to in questions. Auxiliary verbs used in questions such as does and do are not used together with ought to in questions. Understand? Now next is used to. Habitual action in the past. The semi-modal used to is used to show a habitual action that was true in the past, but it no longer happens or is no longer true. It is used with the base form or main verb. Like in sentence, when we were children, we used to recite poems. It means it was the past thing. Reciting poem was the past thing, which we don't sing in present. And used to is used with the main verb. Like here, it is used with recite. Recite is the main verb here. So used to is used with main verb. Understand? Like in sentence 1, she used to have beautifully shaped body. Okay. Here the semi-modal verb used to is used to show that she had a well-shaped body in her youth, but presently she does not have such a body. Similarly, in sentence 5, my grandmother used to put on bright red lipstick when she was younger. It means semi-modal verb used to is used here to tell that in the past, grandmother applied red lipstick when she was young, which she doesn't do now in present time when she is or she has grown old. Okay. Now, be used to and gerund. When be used to is used before a gerund or noun phrase. Now, what is a gerund? Gerund is a noun ending in ing that has been made from a verb. It is used to mean to be accustomed to, means regular, usual, or in the habit of. Okay, आपको आदत है या उसको आदत है. Here the auxiliary verb be comes before used to and also before the word not in negative statements. It also comes before the subject if it is a question. Understand? Students, I suppose that some of you may not be knowing about the auxiliary verb be. So it is referred here. Be is very important auxiliary verb and it is irregular verb. So I would like to make it clear to you that the verb be is irregular verb. It has 8 different forms, as be, am, is, are, was, were, being and been. Being is present participle, and been, b double e b double en, is past participle. The verb be is used as an auxiliary verb, and it can also be used as main verb. And the major uses of be as an auxiliary verb are to form continuous tenses and the passive. Okay. Now here, like, I am used to staying up late to watch movies on television. Here the auxiliary verb am, be form of the verb comes before semi-modal verb used to, and also before the word not in negative sentences. See the fifth one, I was not used to sleeping in the dark when I was a child. So here the auxiliary verb was is the be form of the verb, comes before the word not, and semi-modal auxiliary verb used to. Okay, auxiliary verb be comes before the subject if the sentence is in interrogative form. Like in sentence 7th, auxiliary verb are, be form of the verb comes before the subject you. Now, students, you might have remembered that a few minutes ago I told you that when be used to is used before a gerund or noun phrase, it is used to mean to be usual or in the habit of. Now the question arises, where are gerunds in these sentences? I also have told you that gerund is a noun ending in ing that is made from a verb. So here in sentences, staying is gerund as it is made from the verb stay. So by adding ing to stay, it becomes the gerund staying. S-T-A-Y-Y-I-N-G, staying. Similarly, it is so in rest of the sentences. Okay, like in sentence 2, number 2, keeping, then sleeping in sentence 5, living in sentence 7th, and rest of sentences like spicy food and drunkard father, etc., are the noun phrase. So in these sentences, semi-modal verb used to suggest, uh, like in second sentence, family is habitual of keeping dogs as pets. And in sentence third, they are habitual of constant noise of the traffic outside. Okay. So now see here, question and negative statement using. Okay, this is done. Okay, this is left, I think. So see here, question and negative statement using used to. Like here, did you cry for your mother when you were a child? So here, main verb is cry, that is used with did. We don't say, did you cried? It is wrong to say, did you cried? So we you always use verbs first form with the word did, that is used for asking question. Okay, similarly, in second sentence, did you used to cry for your mother when you were young? We are not using like this, did you used to. It is wrong to say used to. With did, we must always use. Okay. Now, Used to is used for past habits. It is not used in present form. The following examples show a habit that is still being practiced and a shop that is still open for business. Like number one sentence. Here, the semi-modal auxiliary verb used to be showing that there had been a shop in the past which does not exist in future in present. Okay. Now the next is dare. It expresses challenge, have the courage to do something or to express anger. Okay. Now dare is used as semi-modal verb, means to have the courage to do something or to express anger at something, and is often used negatively. Dare doesn't change its form, such as ending with an S, like for she, he, for the third person singular. Understand? Like it looks like he dares flight the big guys. It is wrong to use dares with singular or third form of the verb he. It should like this. It looks like he dare fight the big guy. So always as per rule, dare does not change its forms. It never be like dares. Okay. Next is dare is often accompanied with negative word not. It means, or in other words, we can say that dare has negative form, that is dare not, or its contracted form is daren't. Understand? Dare comes first before the subject to form questions. So when we do frame questions, we always use dare first. It comes always before the subject. Like, how dare you? Here you can see that dare is placed before the subject you. Similarly, in second sentence, dare is placed before the subject he. And in third one also, dare is placed before the subject anyone when we form the question. Dare with to infinitive. See here, the infinitive with to does not follow the same model dare, but when the negative form is dare is used, to may or may not be used. You can use to or you may not use to. Okay. You can see the examples in this slide. Incorrect. How dare you to tell? This is wrong to say. It's correct to say how dare you tell. We should not use infinitive to with dare. But it's correct to say we don't dare to tell her that he describes her as an old turkey. So here the rule second applied, that you may use it, you may not use it. Okay. The next is need. Need implies a necessity. Need, like the other semi-modal verbs, can both act as a modal verb and main verb, or the lexical verbs. Lexical verbs which are used independently, like write, eat, write, writes, return, wrote. We are using them independently. Okay. So it's also used as lexical verb. It follows the subject and in turn is followed by the main verb. Understand? Now, the semi-modal need is used in mostly negative sentences with the word not following it. Together can be contracted to needn't. Like here, you can see need is used here in mostly negative sentences. With which word? With word not. Okay, and how can we contract it together? Needn't. Understand? Negative words such as none, nothing, and no one can be used with need. So what are negative words? None, nothing, and no one. Like none is used with the need in number one sentence. Then in second sentence, need is used with nothing. And then third sentence, no one is used with need. Okay. So negative words like none, nothing, and no one can be used with need. But you cannot use don't, doesn't, and didn't. These negative words, other negative words with semi-modal verb need. It is wrong to say, do we need discuss the problem now? We should say, need we discuss the problem now? Okay. So need, like all the other semi-modal verb, is placed before the subject in questions. Like, need we offended by that careless remark? So here, need is placed before the subject while forming the question. Or in second sentence, you can see that need is placed before I as it is the question. Okay. So remember this thing, that semi-modal verb need is always placed before the subject when we frame the question. So that's all about the semi-modal verbs. I hope you must have understood it well. Thank you so much.